Welcome to the Loaded Cannon. Sorry, I haven't been around. I was away last week, so I missed the reaction to the Fulham game, but I am back for another win and a Spanish win. I remember watching the Madrid game last season, which was just an absolute treat. This would have been lovely as well. But I wasn't there today. Watched it from home and really enjoyed it. But anyway, first things first, apologies for not being there after Fulham. I have missed you. But let's get into this. Let's talk about this game. First, a dedication to all the Palestinians still suffering. And good. I'm glad there's no Maccabi Haifa fans coming to Birmingham next month. And shame on Keir Starmer for backing a bunch of hooligans that sing awful songs about Arabs versus backing his own police and his own decisions in his own country. Anyway, on to Arsenal Football Club. What a win today. What a brilliant win today. About 50 minutes into the game, I was thinking to myself, like, a 0-0 is typical of what you'd expect from a Simeone-Arteta matchup, but it didn't end that way. 4 goals in very quick succession, and actually, do you know what? Some brilliant play. We have to say, yes, opening up Madrid, and even Madrid opening us up, was always going to be one of two things, right? It's always going to be something really special. You could say like Julian Alvarez's attempt that hit the bar, or typical set piece FC. And it turned out they got close with something special, but we did what we needed to do with a set piece. Slightly lucky because the way that set piece came in to the game was Martinelli sort of not having full control of the ball. And when you watch that decision back to give us a free kick, I don't see how the referee has done that. That defender has made barely any motion towards Martinelli. Martinelli has tried to, turn his back on the ball and trap the ball, but he's gone flying into the defender. If anything, it's a foul to Atletico Madrid. But as soon as that was given, we all know as Arsenal fans that this is a threatening situation and we might make something happen. And Declan Rice, honestly, you just when people talk about free kick takers, in the past, they've always talking about them from direct free kicks, in terms of you might spend a little bit more on a player because they hold that threat from direct free kicks. We're talking about Juninho, Beckham, etc. But Declan Rice, the 2 that he scored in that amazing game against Real Madrid that I referenced earlier, what a day that was. Anyway, with that, I think they were the only 2 free kicks he scored in his career. With him, really, it's about his threat that he carries with his delivery. And that delivery into the box was delicious, absolutely perfect. You can see that going into that space. Oblak, one of the best keepers in the world, trapped on his line, can't commit to it because it's just so perfectly delivered. And then Gabriel just doing what he does so well and always being there. It's like they've got a telepathic understanding. And long gone are the days for Arsenal when we would take corners, we would take set pieces, and it wouldn't be the first man, it would hit the wall, that sort of thing. Every single time now, our deliveries are perfect and we make them count. And Rice and Gabriel have this telepathic understanding where they just know what's going to happen and they make it look easy. They did it from this for the first goal. They did it from the corner as well for Gyökeres's second goal, which was our 4th. It's just absolutely brilliant. The delivery, you just can't defend it, and Gabriel does what he does best. And then the second goal, if we're going to talk about being set piece FC, the second goal was absolutely beautiful. Open play football, really expansive, ambitious play from Mars Lewis Skelly. What an assist. That goal was not the sort of goal I was expecting in a game like this, because these are 2 teams that are very streetwise. So for Lewis Skelly to be able to dance through midfield like that and eat up the yards and play the ball with such perfection for Martinelli, where Martinelli, never mind needing to break stride, doesn't even need to check his body language or anything. It's just absolutely flawless for him. That pass is not just a pass. That pass was an instruction. And that instruction was shoot first time. It was perfect. And Martinelli duly obliged. we all know, we all know because it all lives long in the memory. That was an Henry-esque finish. The amount of curl he got on the ball, opening up his body to be able to aim that way past the post, and because of his direction of travel, knowing that ball's going to curl inside. On both of those goals, Oblak got a touch, but you can really not even fault him for not being able to keep them out because they were both just sensational, elements to the goals. Gabriel's header, actually, he could have been more. He could have put it more in the corner, but he knew he didn't have to. All he had to do was get decent contact on the ball, and it's most likely going to go in. Would have been a wonder save had Oblak kept it out. And then Lewis Skelly with the assist. Wow, Martinelli with a finish, just beautiful. And after that, we saw what we didn't expect from Atletico Madrid, and that was a capitulation. Because we all know. I think anyone that's watched Madrid under Simeone for many, many years, this is not them in their heyday. This is not them at their most intense, where they would be willing to die for a manager. They're a different Atletico Madrid now, and maybe it's symptomatic of a manager being there for too long, because I just think that if Simeone went to a new club, surely he'd be able to get more out of the players than I saw from Atletico Madrid today. They were not fighting. They were not running through walls. They were not giving their lives. And in the past, that's what we've seen from this team. But he must have felt, disappointed with his team today in the way they conceded goal after goal after goal. Gyökeres with his then, and again, Martinelli involved in that. So he's won the free kick for the first. He's scored the second, involved in the third. He's had a real renaissance, because I was asking the question at the start of the season that if we are going to be a truly ruthless team, then do we need to talk about his position being under threat, or even making him available to bring someone else who's going to do better into the club? And the way he's responded this season has been brilliant. He looks fired up. He looks hungry. He looks like he's scared of losing his position. And today I thought he was absolutely brilliant. But the goal scorer, Victor Gyökeres, look, I know a lot of people are going to look at both of his goals and say, combined distance of 10 yards, and the first one, a massive bit of luck. The finish is a tackle, for God's sake. And then the second one sort of comes off God knows what part of his body. But the fact of the matter is, this is what we were promised with Gyökeres. We were promised a player that's going to be in those positions to somehow get goals that we wouldn't have got otherwise. And both of the goals that he scored today fit exactly that definition. So I'm not going to hear any slander for Gyökeres and the manner of the goals that he scored today. That's exactly what we were asking for, a player that's going to occupy that central position and make life difficult. I'm really glad he got his 2 goals today, because he's been on a bit of a dry spell, and he hasn't had the best luck. And today he got the luck. So if we're going to criticise him when he doesn't score and he doesn't get the luck, for example, the goal where it bounced off the post and Martinelli had to tap it in, on another day that goes in and it's on Gyökeres who gets the goal. But when he doesn't get the luck, if we're going to criticise him, give him the credit for making his own luck when he does get a bit of luck in games like today. Positionally, he was in the right place. He didn't give up. He made himself, part of that play, part of that passage of play where he can get something on the ball. Sometimes it goes your way, and that's what happened. So hopefully he continues to do that and he gets a few more goals now. Up the Arsenal, joint top of that Champions League table. I think we're second or third. PSG are obviously top, and they scored 7 today, my God. But listen, 4-0 at home, clean sheet. We're yet to concede a goal in the Champions League. Inter Milan, obviously the other team. So it's the same story as last season, but we can't complain. Top of the league in the Premier League, joint top in the Champions League. So far, the season is going well. Let's keep it going. Free Palestine. Take care. Hit that like button.